Yep. It's the game designer. Still working. This tray is full of dice, colorful polyhedral dice. Hundreds of them. Candy dispenser has been repurposed to contain thousands of dice.
Hello, I'm Nia.
Novelty dice maker. A bird-like woman sits on the throne of tools with emerald light shining through her hair.
Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Melius.
She taps on her
So
headphones.
what kind of die are you looking for?
Could this be the malicious entity? Perhaps it's wise to go along with this masquerade for now. She's got a direct view of the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching. Hold on, what do you mean by Malleus?
Yes, Amelia is like a calling station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these.
She pats the headphones on the table.
Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking.
You must have confused me with someone else. I haven't knocked on your window.
Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance? You know what? It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're finally here. Let's talk dice. Did you have something specific in mind?
Why are you asking me about dice?
I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
Role-playing games. You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count? Sure, I like role-playing games and I need some dice.
Good. My rate is 10 real per set, unless you want something really unusual. Take a look around and see if there is any particular stone you want to use.
The walls around her are covered with rows of precious stones and minerals. It almost looks as if the stones and dice are a natural part of the room, growing out of the shells like stalagmites. No falsehoods are present. She's a novelty dice maker and doesn't have anything to hide. Ask what you need. How'd you become a dice maker? How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field, with too much competition. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there. Do you like role-playing games yourself? Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay, and role players as customers. They're nice people. Some of those nice people have big bucks to spend on novelty items. Hey, where are we anyway? What is this place? Look around in the room. We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know. She looks at the ruddy bricks that make up the walls. Even though they've been repainted, there's still signs of coal-black soot here and there. But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus. Lassance was right. There is an entity living in the chimney. You should ask her about the curse. Creative, the lieutenant looks around in the spacious room, its ceiling fading into the shadows above. When she arrived here, there was no room anywhere else. She must have known the other businesses. Do you know what happened to the other tenants? Everyone else is gone. More or less, she adjusts the yellow scarf that covers her hair. Are you interested in anyone specific? Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind. There used to be a hair salon next to the bookstore, right? Yes, I think it was called the Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't that big of a hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word. A bit of experimenting now every now and then isn't bad. Not about the haircut, it's about the confidence. What's wrong with a bit of experimenting? The customers should have been more open-minded. I had pink hair for a while. I wouldn't mind doing that again. If I knew it wasn't going to damage my hair more, question mark. Baldness runs in my family, and that's a bit of a worry. Anyway, what's wrong with a bit of experimenting? I guess it just wasn't the time yet. She tucks a strand of hair under the headscarf. What happened to the gym downstairs? It wasn't merely a gym, it was our Timitep's Boxing Club, a community project created to steer at-risk youths away from drugs and crime. It was Artemidep? I don't know. Artimitep. It's supposed to be Archimedes. But Egyptian-ish? Anyway, who was he? A kind man from Zemsk. Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym as a way of giving back. How'd that work out? Or judging from the kids I met so far, it didn't really work out, did it? It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines. You should have known it. It's not really full of that. No one would store their drugs like that. Eventually, the Coalition took away funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since. What's up with all the debris in the hallway? So many broken window panes. Oh, this one's a mess, she sighs. There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. What could go wrong with this one, right? It turns out the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff milieu. Who would have guessed? Huh, what's a snuff milieu? And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway, and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own. It's a shame about those windows. I'm not even going to ask about that milieu. Yeah, don't. She looks down. Then up again. Did someone make stuffed animals? I saw a lot of mounts lying around. You mean Mr. Febron, the taxidermist? No, he mostly just did drugs. But what drugs exactly? Let it pass. Let's see. Notice mannequins. Creepy mannequins. There used to be a fashion atelier here. But I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple years until the insect rights activists came. Insect rights activists? What in the name of... the atelier produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently, chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin supplier, which, of course, caused the price to skyrocket, and naturally all the fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection. Glad someone took care of the little guys. I like insects. Huh, really? She looks at the windowsill where a dead fly is lying on its back, legs curled up in a bow tie. Anyway. Let's see. Deal with rotor blades and skis. They were made by a company called Slipstream. They pivoted from making rotor blades to skis. The chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money. She rests her chin on her hands with an ambitious smile. Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tuolula, or Tio Mautiri, or Kashtkor, or wherever he is. That's illegal, running off with company's money like that. Why hasn't he been arrested? Sure, it's illegal, but it's not exactly anything extraordinary in business. Besides, Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in 47. I have no idea why those skis and blades are still lying around. They were just props. Why return them? Maybe you could make a sword out of one. No, wait, forget it. It would take too long. Saw a strange machine next to the blackboard in the main room. Fortress accident. The radio game studio. She closes her eyes as some remnant of a memory lights up her face. They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over We're All. They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules. What do you mean liberal? What happened? The usual. They ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time. What went wrong? Well, I did hear them talking at times. She looks at the hallway as if she can still hear them chit-chat behind her curtains on a cigarette break. They seemed to believe they were historical individuals in some grand quest. She sounds almost mocking when she says that. From what I've seen so far, the project did look quite impressive. Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know how the markets are rigged to keep out new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic, and to show up on work on time. Showing up to work on time is hard. No, scratch that. Showing up to work at all is difficult, especially when you've been drinking. That's too bad. I would have supported them. Their project looked great. Not the wisest decision. You would have lost all your savings. She tosses a pair of dice on the table. One of them stops near the edge of a metallic desk. The result is a 1 on a 20-sided die. The dice is black and filled with little silvery flakes, like a snowfall. Anything else? Ice cream company with a terrifying taxidermy bear in the cellar. Oh boy, the fabled Reficol Ice City. You're in for a treat here. She smiles and leans closer, hands on her knees. Like a stand-up comedian ready to tell a story. The place was owned by 2 guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now, ask me about their other ideas. What other ideas? Alright, what other ideas? It really was just one, and involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you dared disturb their bored magazine browsing. He leans back, disapproving. Britt does the same thing. Oh, a girl just like that, and she works in Fred as a cashier, and she's not particularly friendly. Employing sulky teenage girls is a widespread practice, yes? Unfortunately, they always come in packs. I'm talking about acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the shop. At least that's what happened with Revicol Ice City. And they already had the bear. She closes her eyes as if remembering something painful. What about the bear? The bear, she repeats, pressing thumbs into her temples, like trying to suppress the headache. Didn't work out? Of course not. The bear is terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either. And half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Revicol Ice City lost a price war to its rival, Glacier 5000. Glacier 5000 sold caramel sundaes, only 5 cents apiece, out of regular fridges. I killed the bear. You unplugged it. You did what? She rolls her swivel chair an inch closer to you, unsure whether she heard you right. I unplugged the fridge to help Revicol Ice City cut their losses. Ah, of course they left it plugged in. Even in death, the bear is costing them money. The taxidermist who made it said it was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. He called it Megatherian. Sounds cool. Megatherian? Megatherian. Nods the dice maker. A mega wild beast. It's a mega wild beast. An imaginary beast that guides you through life. By telling you to do more drugs, mostly. A wise and noble beast guiding you towards the land where the streets are paved with drugs. I don't do drugs. Very good. You shouldn't do them, nods the dice maker. You're a police officer, after all. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire. She almost seems sad finishing the story. Well, let's see. I found the building's intercom, but it seems most of the doorbells are not working. Oh, right. She rubs her forehead. Scarf has left a faint line on her dusky skin. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think most of those doorbells work. None of those work, including mine. I'm still in the middle of connecting the wires. Sorry about the confusion. So you're telling me that you have a doorbell there? Which one? The one with an empty name card. It's the last one on the list. I said. It's quite useless now. It doesn't work yet. Okay, more questions about the building. Let's see. Actually, more questions. What do you know about the man who was lynched behind the whirling in rags? Nothing really. I didn't know him. Who cares about dead body? Ask her about the curse already. The lieutenant looks at the notebook and the woman under the large window. Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening? I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window. What do you mean, daily ruckus? Well, there's always something going on in the whirling backyard. She stops to try and come up with an example. During daytime, there's usually those kids, and lately I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about. Must be because of the strike. She's heard of the murder, but didn't see it, sire. She looks up to the window, pale light coming in. But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid. And you never took your eyes off work to look out the window? I might have, she admits, but in this case, all I could have seen would have been my own reflection staring back from the darkness. It's light here, but dark in the yard at night. It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone. Do you often work Sunday nights? It's an odd profession making dice for people, but I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home. I see. Thanks for your answers. He nods. Heard this place is cursed. Do you know that people call it the doomed commercial area? I've heard the stories, she nods, as the wind howls from the furnace shaft above. But I don't think those stories are true. Let's see. Alright, how do you explain what happened to the companies then? That's just capitalism, she shrugs. We only hear about tales of success, so it's often surprising to realize how many ventures actually fail. Plaisance is the one who sent me. She's convinced the place is swarming with malicious energies. Plaisance, the bookshop lady? She raises her brows. I've heard her business is doing rather well. The energy has spared her somehow. Actually, the bookstore isn't doing that well. There are hardly any customers, and she has to exploit her own daughter to keep the company going. Alright, but it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the Whirling and Rags? Some people say it's part of the building complex. Hold on, the Whirling is part of the doomed commercial area? Yes, or you could say so. Both houses were built on the same time and under the East Delta Commerce Center project. No, the Whirling isn't doing too well either. Its waitress just took off, and customers are having trouble paying the bills. Then there's me, she sighs, looking at her messy work table. All kinds of tools lie there scattered, from knives to carving flies to wire cutters. I've been here for 14 years selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million-real business idea, yet somehow I've survived, despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it? Maybe it's just because she's so talented that she's been able to woo the curse. I'll be the first to admit there are many inconsistencies in this so-called curse. I was just about to ask. She leans forward in her chair to study your face. What do you think? Do you think the curse is real? Time has come to face the source. Fear not, for the forces of the universe are supporting you in this psychic quest. I'm starting to see there's no curse. Only business decisions and natural market fluctuations. Exactly, she pinches the root of her nose. Truth is always so disappointingly mundane and boring. But I'm glad we got this sorted out. Anything else I can help you with today? Let's see. Shiver's Legendary 14. Ooh, I don't think I can get that. 8% chance. I'm gonna leave for a second. We're gonna quick save, and then I'm gonna just fail that, and we'll see what happens. You feel nothing. If anything, it's uncomfortably warm in here. Nope, we are not taking off our clothing. And yeah, I could put points into Shivers to get that, but I doubt that's going to net me anything. Okay, so we're done with this. And those are her shoes. We haven't found the password yet. I was really hoping that would turn up. Maybe it will turn up a little bit later. I don't know. Nothing here. So, yeah, whatever it is, wherever it is, maybe it's probably in the icebox. I was kind of hoping I could take the whole computer to sell. Maybe we get the ability to sell it after we've solved the mystery of the icebox. Speaking of, has it thawed in any way yet? Still pretty heroic. Yeah, so I'll try again tomorrow. It's getting really late, too. I don't know what the limitation is on, like, the schedule, or if it even gets dark. This game probably does get dark at night. But let's finish some things up if I can. Ah, no, it is getting darker. The lights are on. Well, let's go talk to the old men, because I've got a shot put. Let's see. They were this way. If they're still here. Oh, there they are.
We're still waiting for a replacement for the bull you sent sinking.
Found you guys a new boule. And at the ball. Old veteran stares at the shot put ball in silence. What is this? Are you mocking us? This isn't for pet and Q. No need to get angry again, Renee. Sure, this officer tried his best. It's not that there's a boule kiosk here in Martinez. I'm very sorry. It's the best I could find. Lost shot-put ball. Replace it, get 10 EXP. The best, huh? He says, inspecting the ball. This isn't even a boule, but fine. I guess you did attempt to right your hooliganism. Consider it forgiven. Okay, is there anything you can tell me about this rifle? It's a Bell & Margrave. He says, taking the rifle 4.46 caliber, breech loading, Revicol made. Good weapon, accurate and reliable. This one's inoperable. The bolt spring is missing and the mechanism is jammed shut. It's still a beauty. Where did you find her? Let's see. In the basement there. I'm not surprised. He looks at the building. There are probably lots of forgotten wartime building weapons lying around here. Back in the day, everyone had something stashed away. As for the rifle, I don't know what else to tell you, shrugs. These BM 446s are an antique. No one uses them anymore. The ammunition is impossible to find. Cool. I don't know if that's useful, but cool. I'll probably hold on to the gun. No way we're getting up to 100 real tonight. There's probably some way you can speedrun lots of money, like begging and grifting. I just don't know if it's worth it. I saw a Mind Realm, whatever stuff, with specifically saying, like, Hobo Cop. So I get the feeling we're going to probably be Hobo Cop at some point. Anyway.
You're alive and well. Don't keep me waiting now. What's in there? In that dark sarcophagus?
The dark sarcophagus paused dramatically. Yes, how was it? Tell her how ghastly it was. You know it's what she wants to hear. Honestly, a dump. Nothing to see there. It's just heaps of garbage. Someone should let the sun shine in. But what else did you find? Did anything survive? No, of course not. Have you located the entity? I've talked to the entity you told me about. Her name is Neha. She's a novelty dice maker. A novelty dice maker? Her eyes widen. Well, spit it out. What kind of... Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use ankle bones of sheep. She's not a sorceress or some malicious entity. She's a businesswoman like you. She looks perplexed. I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse? The narrative she's built herself, it does need tearing down. She's squeezing on the pendant too tight, a drop of blood in her palm. Just don't say you don't have any answers yet. The uncertainty is killing her. To hell with it. Perchance you ought to just lie, sire. Let's see. She said it's just capitalism. Bankruptcy is a quirk of our economic system. Wait, what? Her entire face goes white as a skull. The entire economic system is cursed? I'm afraid that only world revolution can help you. Lens of immigrant labor? Holy crap, no. It's true, we live in a precarious world. Nothing ever turns out right. You need to get used to chaos. Precarious world economy. She looks down at the pendant in her trembling hands. I understand what's going on here. You went in there, rummaged around, and accomplished nothing, and now you're telling me these intellectual things to cover it. It's okay, you don't have to. I was wrong to trust another person. I'll manage the psychic calamity, as I always have, alone and on my own. She tucks the pendant away in her blouse and concludes, Thank you for nothing. Please do buy some books or be on your way. Wow, total psychic collapse between you two right now. There was never any other way this could have gone. She's just too far gone in her own mind. I'm sorry to disappoint you, ma'am. He turns to you. Can we go now? Bye. Mildly disappointed, but hey, I'll take the EXP. So, we have a level up. I'm probably going to wait. Wow, we were pretty close to the next one, actually. Five away. Or, no, we were pretty close to the last level up. I'll take it. I don't think she could have given us too much, and we solved the mystery as satisfactorily as we could. I'm sure there's more, but I'm just going to be a harsh realist because I'm an awful person? I don't know. Whatever. Let's go this way. Hello? Let's go see about this dead body. Oh, are the kids gone? Nope. Freaking kid is still here. Both of them are. So what can I interact with? The footprints. Finally! Okay, exact count. Maybe more than 12? No, 8 pairs of boots must have shuffled back and forth in the mud. Go over them one by one. Standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 46. Standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 44. Hobnail work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 43. Standard work boot, no, 45 or 46? Which is it? You don't know. It's a miracle you can tell the prints apart as it is. The cold must have preserved them. 5. Another standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 44. An aberration, light as air, even pace, same make of boot, but no 41. Male or female? Impossible to tell. Could have also been an adolescent. The gait is undeveloped. Pretty good at this, ain't I? You're not bad. It's as if the whole world darkens. Everything else has a thin film of unimportance on it, and the tracks burn in the middle of it. In a strange, beautiful way. Count the rest. 7. Glowing outline of a standard work boot, number 46. But the imprints are twice as deep as the others. The weight exceeds 200 kilograms. The big man. Probably the head measurer. Or the guy at the gate. And yet another standard work boot, number 44. There's an aberration in the pattern of the sole, however. The right sole is smoother, more worn. How many of the lieutenant has been tracking your eye movements? 8. I was pretty off then. I counted 20. Same guys are going back and forth. I never got the hang of it. Hyperopia. He points to his glasses. Do you see anything out of the ordinary? Light step, number 41 shoe. Woman or kid? I don't think... it could be a kid? Okay, how do you know? Let's see. I just do. He knows it's hard to discern sex from a person's gait. I just do. Understood? Anything else? Heavy one. 200 kilogram imprint. 200? He thinks for a moment. Could be the combined weight of 2 people. One carrying the other who's tied up. Let's say a heavily built worker carrying a similarly built, soon-to-be dead man. Might be right. 200 kilograms of living weight is unlikely. Let's see. One of them was carrying him over. Possibly, yes. The lieutenant marked something down in his notebook. But why? You're thinking, why did they have to carry him? Yes, they could have used a makeshift stretcher or marched him up to the gallows. Maybe the victim wasn't conscious. Even easier to carry on a stretcher or between 2 men. Anyway, it's for future consideration. What else can you see? An aberration. One soul is smoother than the other. Interesting. Let's name it Odd Soul. Any ideas, Lieutenant? Someone operating a workbench with a pedal? Like a joiner at the harbor. He thinks for a second. Maybe a drummer. So one of the people we're looking for is a drummer? No, it's not. Forget I said it. We're not looking for a drummer. Raises his index finger. Perhaps it could be a driver. A driver would wear out the right shoe before the left. The accelerator's on the right. Nod thoughtfully. We should keep our eyes open around the traffic jam. See whether anyone strikes out as a potential suspect. Seems prudent, no? Yep. The lieutenant writes the information down in his notebook, then reverts to the tracks in the mud. How old do you think the tracks are? A week, maybe? 7 days would fit the time frame provided to us by the caller, who reported the hanging. It's not impossible, but how do you know? I pulled last week's forecast for a coastal revocall. 7 days below freezing. The day before, the day of his hanging, was the last warm day. Correct again. Sub-zero temperatures would preserve the tracks in a good state. The commotion here could have taken place a week ago. What do you think happened here? What do I think? Mob of people brought something heavy to a tree. One of them was carrying the victim. They shuffled around, especially under the tree. Then after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction. At first, this appears to be a lynching. Indeed, they all stood in a row here and looked at the tree. Yes, everything fits so well. Carried him over, hoisted him up, watched him hang. This is easy. I think we have a firm understanding of what happened here. The lieutenant's eyes narrow. He's thinking to himself. Either way, what else? We've been through all of it. So how do I get over here? Probably through the secret door. Because there's a lot of stuff out there. We could talk to Kuno, but, like, to be honest, screw that. I don't want to talk to Kuno unless I really have to. Sorry. Because this is the only way up that I found. But I don't... Whoop. Damn it, there's the thought bubble there.